Hey friends, there's an old saying. Some days you eat the bear, some days the bear eats you. So my first video of 2020, I intended for it to be from the road from the start of my trip. This was also the first big trip that I was doing in the big white van. I've done a lot of short trips in the white van. I've done a lot of long trips, coast to coast and everything, in the minivan, even though I've had the big van, because I wasn't going to be able to be gone long enough on the trips to make it worthwhile for the extra gas and stuff. This is what I've been planning for several months now, that you've heard me talk about. The reason I worked through the last couple of months of the fourth quarter, so I would have time and be able to do this. So here basically is my day, or 24-hour period. I find out I have a water leak that I can't figure out where it's coming from, where I'm losing water. Even though I tested it several times, sometimes I would lose water, sometimes I wouldn't lose water. I finally tracked it down and figured it's probably the water pump. I have a receipt from the previous owner. The water pump, I don't remember now, was replaced 7 or 8 years ago. This cheap crap that comes from auto parts stores, regardless of what brand, what anything you buy anymore, all rolling off the same assembly line in China or Taiwan or where have you. So I figured, so be it. So get it into a shop quick, find the one place around that has the water pump in stock, go to get it in the shop this morning, and before I can get out the door of my home, I managed to blow my back out. Yeah. So that's going to slow me down potentially for a few days, but so be it. I get the thing into the shop, they call me back, hey, guess what? In order to do this, the way this is made, your AC lines have to be disconnected in order to get everything apart on this giant Dodge van. So mine has never been retrofitted. The air conditioner works, and it has R12, the original type of Freon in it, which is really, really expensive if you go to have to top it off or refill it. So they don't even have the ability to do it. As a matter of fact, no one in the county I live in actually has the ability to do it. There's a little bit of this stuff around. I actually have the adapters to put it in, but it's expensive on top of everything else. So we have the conversation. Fine, go ahead, do what you have to do. They get it apart, decide the water pump's fine, but I have 2 leaking hoses. Now, if you've seen other videos of mine, some of these, the things I do when I buy a vehicle, one is I replace a lot of this stuff, thermostats and PVC valves and, all the radiator hoses and brakes and rotors and things like that. That was done on this vehicle. We did, my buddy Ernie that's been in a video too, helped me with a lot of this stuff, did some of it for me, and we did all of that basic maintenance stuff. The hose that was leaking the worst was a hose that was bought brand new less than 2 years ago, and on the hose where the fitting goes, the hose just decided to split about 1 inch wide for no reason. That, unfortunately, is the quality of crap. Like auto parts are like everything else, the quality just goes down and down and down and down every year. So it's a problem I shouldn't have had. So at this point, I'm into it for so much labor, so much of an issue. Go ahead and replace the water pump, even though it's not bad, because it'll go out someday, and I don't want to be 1,000 miles from home and have to deal with this. So all of that's being done. On top of it, I have a small spot on the inside on the radiator, which on a vehicle that old, I wouldn't even normally bother replacing, But since this is a road trek, these things have some value. Even though this thing is a 93 model, so it's 28 years old now, the thing barely has 100,000 miles on it. It runs perfectly at this point. The transmission is fine. So I probably will go ahead and replace the radiator also. So I'm going to end up with a huge bill from this thing. And then I'm going to have to refill the AC myself, which will be a nice little bonus on top of it. I also got hit with another problem yesterday that I can't deal with till tomorrow anyway. So all of this combination of things has slowed me down because I thought I would be out of here today and merrily on my way down the road. Because I can tell you, when I see the leaving my county sign, my stress level reduces. And when I see the leaving my state sign, my stress level reduces even more. And then I become a happy, much happier little feller going down the highway. But this repair is going to extend into a couple of days. Hopefully that'll give my back time to go back into position that it needs to go into. And I know people that have serious back problems and have back problems all of the time. I had an ex that had to have back surgery, major back surgery, and be fused together. And I saw everything that she went through and a 6-month recovery from that. So I don't even complain about mine. I have about 49 or 50 weeks a year. I can pretty much do whatever I want to. I can bike, I can run, I can hike up a hill, I can do whatever as long as I just kind of watch it lifting really, really, really heavy stuff and realize I'm not 20 years old anymore. But usually it's something simple that sets it off. And usually whatever I do that overdoes it or twist it, it ends up going out a day or two later. And of course, being under the van repeatedly, trying to figure out, bending and stretching and looking and trying to get in the position, figure out where this leak's coming from, I figure it's what set this off. And then my day or so later, it decides to start tightening up and doing its thing. That's my thing. If you know anybody that has back problems or you have back problems, you know that everybody's symptoms are a little bit different. What sets it off is a little bit different. And even your own stuff from time to time can be completely different. And I have been dealing with this crap since I was in my 20s. So I just expect that I'm going to have 1 or 2 bad weeks a year. And sometimes it's a 3-day thing. I don't think it's ever been shorter than that. At worst, it's been about a 10-day thing for me. There is nothing that I can do that really helps it. It's just, I will wake up one morning and I will be fine again. But all those mornings in between, you open your eyes and you remember that you're dealing with the back stuff and you start to move, and then either the pain hits or it catches or you stiffen up and you realize that you're going to have yet another crappy day, that today is not the day that your back's going to be fixed. So that's my little back issues. And I think most of us, by the time we get up into this age, there's a whole lot of us that have back issues. Like I said, I know a lot of you guys and gals, I'm sure, have much, much worse problems than I do. So I do not expect any sympathy. Basic update, I hope to get on the road soon, sometime in the next few days. I am heading south and I am heading west. I don't even know how far. I know I'm going for a really long time. This will be the longest trip I have ever done. I have brought someone in that's going to be house sitting while I'm gone, taking care of my animals, basically living in my house. So I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about any idiots breaking into my house while I'm gone, because someone will be here basically all the time. So that worked out well. That takes that worry off of it while I'm on the road and still have a home to deal with. I kind of wing it on these trips. I might make it as far as hitting that big van RV thing in the desert in southern Arizona. I've been in that area before. I like that area. I'm really not that crazy about being out there with thousands of other people. But if I make it in there, I did not plan on being there the whole time anyway. I planned on maybe getting in there a couple of days towards the end of it and meeting some people and making some friends and whatever. But if you are out and about and on the road and full-time, or you're part-time and you're heading to this thing I'm talking about, and you see me somewhere along the way, or you see me out there, feel free to holler at me. Come up, say hi. You know, if we're in a parking lot somewhere and you realize it, holler at me, come up and knock on the door, whatever. You know, I'm happy to meet anybody when I'm out and about. So that's basically where it stands now. When I know what's going on with this vehicle, hopefully tomorrow, and it's all back together and I can get it tested for a day and run it around and make sure that everything's fixed and get the air conditioner recharged, because even though it's January now, being gone for a couple of months, I can tell you, I hit some weird stuff in the other van going out west in March before. And I know I'm going to still be potentially somewhere, whether I'm north by then, somewhere, that I'm going to need air conditioning, because there's places, if you're from the east, this seems odd if you've never been out there, but the sun will beat down so hard you will need to run the air conditioner in a lot of places, like in New Mexico, at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then you will get out of your vehicle and it's 30 degrees and you will need a jacket and hat and gloves in order to be outside for any length of time exploring or what have you. And as soon as you get back in your vehicle and start driving down the road, you need to turn the air conditioner on again, because all of a sudden it's the way the sun's hitting, it's 90 degrees in your vehicle and you've got to cool it down. So the AC, for that reason, needs to be recharged and fixed and tested now before I take off. So I think I've rambled here a little more than I normally want to. That's where it stands. Hopefully I can get on the road, get some videos up for you traveling, get some videos up of what I run into on the road, good and bad, and get some videos a little closer of some of the maintenance issues that I've had to do even before this. So if you're into this lifestyle, or you're thinking about this lifestyle, you have some idea of what you're going to have to deal with when you get on the road. In the meantime, if you're wondering what to watch next, if you go down in the description or down in the comment section, I usually have something pinned that I have links to other popular van life videos and how-to videos and things like that. So pick something out, watch that, something you may have missed that I've done the last few weeks. We'll get this done. We'll get an update. We'll get the back fixed. We'll get the van fixed. We'll get on the road. We'll talk soon.